My name is Mary Ann Savakinis. I'm the Executive Director of the Lackawanna Historical Society, and I am very excited to welcome everyone here today to Lackawanna County's Courthouse Square. Lackawanna County Courthouse Square is one of my favorite places in the entire county. We, the Lackawanna Historical Society, have been giving walking tours of this square for more than 30 years, and I personally, when I was just starting at the Historical Society, one of my first tasks was to give the tour. And I loved giving the tour because Lackawanna County Courthouse Square gives you snippets of so much of the county's history. So some of my favorite things at the square to talk about, obviously the courthouse behind me, a very important building, not just locally, but nationally, because it is where in 1902, the Great Strike of Anthracite Commission met in the courthouse. The United Miners of America were represented by famous lawyer Clarence Darrow, alongside the beloved labor leader John Mitchell, who is in the statue behind me. So it tells a very important part, not just of our local history, but the national labor history across the country. Over on Linden Street, we have one of my other favorite sites on Courthouse Square, the Electric City sign. The Electric City sign is obviously a landmark for everyone who lives here. They like to go out and find it at night and see it. Tourists come, they take pictures of it. But it represents Scranton's ingenuity in the transportation industry. The first electric-powered trolley system in the world was started in Scranton, and that's why it was called the Electric City. So there's another story we get to tell when we give tours of Courthouse Square. Around the corner, we have the Piazza dell'Arte, another piece of Scranton's history and culture, where you can learn about some of the individuals that left their mark nationally but had roots in Lackawanna County. People like Ned Washington, who wrote When You Wish Upon a Star, or William Murrin, a poet laureate who was here from Scranton. So we get to tell these stories as we go around and tour Courthouse Square. And I think possibly my favorite thing about County Courthouse Square are the anchoring corners that have monuments that were dedicated by the citizens of Lackawanna County to acknowledge their roots in the European countries that they came from. We have Sheridan and Columbus representing Ireland and Italy. We have Pulaski and Kosciuszko representing Poland and Lithuania. And we even have this wonderful evergreen tree over here that was planted by the Ukrainian residents of Lackawanna County. So when you're giving a tour of Courthouse Square, you can tell a lot of stories about our past and kind of make the connections that we as a historical society try to make to encourage the people who live here now to get involved in local history and start to make their marks for the future. And that is why today's project that we're talking about is so important. We have revised our architectural guide, which deals with not just Courthouse Square, but the entire downtown Scranton, talks about the architecture and the history of our beautiful city. And we also have translated into Spanish this year, so that we could broaden our outreach and expand the stories that we tell. And the person who's going to tell you more about that is my coworker, Sarah Piccini. She is the assistant director at the Lackawanna Historical Society, and she has her own personal history and connection to this project. So I'm going to ask Sarah to come up and share some of the details.
Thanks, Marianne. I realized as you were talking, and last week I was doing a walking tour of Courthouse Square for Leadership Lackawanna, and I realized how often both of us say, this is my favorite thing. So one of the things about the new walking tour booklet, it's all my favorite things all in one spot, because we do say that an awful lot. We have many, many favorite things about Scranton and Lackawanna County. The original version of the walking tour book was done by LHVA in 2009, 2010. It was actually done by a past version of myself when I worked at LHVA. So as I was working on the updated version, I wasn't even able to look back at the book and say, what idiot wrote this? Because it was me. I was the original idiot. So it was great to be able to look at it and to update it. We were able to add in some more sites outside of Scranton. We updated some of the listings for buildings that are downtown, buildings that have changed their use, have different owners. So it was great to be able to kind of virtually walk through the city again, and look at what had changed, what had stayed the same, what kind of stories we could tell about the buildings and the architecture that's in Scranton. The Historical Society offers guided walking tours in the summer. One of our trustees, Lenny Piaski, is the woman who organizes those tours. So it's great to be able to tell the stories, the things that are hidden in stone and carved in the fronts and the sides and the backs of buildings, to be able to point things out to people who walk by them every day and never really notice. You never really look at what's around you as you're going around town. But we were really excited this year to be able to finally have a Spanish language version. We had tried in the past a few times working with teachers and school classes to do a translation. So we were finally able to work with Jenny Gonzalez from Marywood to translate it and have a Spanish language version. So we're able to bring those stories again to a bigger and a broader audience in Scranton. I keep saying these are our favorite things to talk about. And they're easy stories to tell, so we're excited to bring them to a new audience. The booklets themselves in the coming weeks will be available in different hotels and restaurants. They'll be available at the Historical Society, at LHVA, and at the libraries. So you could pick them up and take yourself on a guided walking tour. If you're feeling adventurous as you're going around, there's even a scavenger hunt included in the back of the book, looking at different animals that are carved in stone around Scranton. So as you're going around, you could look for owls on the library, or eagles on the Scranton Life Building, on the side there. Look for different kinds of animals are hidden around town. Again, some of our favorites. There's that word again. Are on the back of the Mitchell Monument. There's a cat and a dog on the back of the John Mitchell Monument. So as you're going around, as you're going through, there's a lot of different opportunities for you to learn new things about Scranton, in small snippets, looking at what's on the outside of the building that gives you a clue as to what's inside. So it was a great opportunity to be able to update that, and bring it out to new audiences. I'm going to turn the program over now to Jenny Gonzalez. Jenny's the director of the STARS program at Marywood, and did a gracious and wonderful job of translating into Spanish for us.
Good morning, everyone. So I did type something out. My name is Jenny Gonzalez, and I'm the STARS Program Director at Marywood University. The STARS program is a mentoring program that is open to all youth of diverse backgrounds in Lackawanna County, but has traditionally focused on providing educational enrichment opportunities to the growing Hispanic and Latino youth and their families. I share this because for the last year and a half, I have had the opportunity and honor to work with Lackawanna Historical Society on various programs, projects, and research that have bridged the STARS program vision and Lackawanna Historical Society. Some of these programs have included taking the STARS youth, who have been mostly local Hispanic and Latino youth, to tour the Catlin House and take them on the downtown Scranton walking tour. We also worked with the Lackawanna Historical Society to teach the STARS youth on the importance of oral histories, family genealogies, and archiving the Hispanic and Latino experience in northeastern Pennsylvania, as it will expand our diverse local history and heritage. I also spent over a year researching the local migrant workforce, many of whom were of Hispanic and Latino background, behind northeastern Pennsylvania's agricultural industry for the last several decades. However, during multiple conversations with Mary Ann, we realized that in order for Lackawanna Historical Society to build a long-lasting connection with the new, growing, diverse immigrant communities moving to northeastern Pennsylvania, we needed to think about translating documents into the second most spoken language in the region, which is Spanish. This will allow for better communication and understanding between the Hispanic and Latino community and the Lackawanna Historical Society. Therefore, I decided one of the projects that I would work on was translating the walking tour brochure into Spanish. The translation of the brochure was very rewarding because I learned so many interesting facts about our local history that I had never learned about before. I learned that the Scranton estate was donated to the University of Scranton in 1941, that the first Rite Aid store opened in Scranton in September of 1962, and that many of the downtown Scranton buildings were constructed from West Mountain stone. I also learned that the Ad Lin building was purchased by the U in 2012 and renamed in honor of Louis Stanley Brown, the university's first Black graduate. I learned that the Grace Hope Mission is one of the oldest constructions in the square and that there is a monument in honor of John Mitchell, who was a well-known leader of the United Mine Workers who passionately advocated for the rights of the local coal mining workers. By translating the brochure, I got a glimpse about the similar struggles and experiences previous immigrants and descendants of immigrants faced while living in northeastern Pennsylvania. Therefore, I know that being able to share Lackawanna County's rich local history and cultural and natural heritage in Spanish to the Hispanic and Latino community will help build community trust and engagement and hopefully add tourism. By being able to connect our past to our present in Spanish, Lackawanna County will be taking a leading role in northeastern Pennsylvania in embracing a welcoming and inclusive environment for new waves of immigrants who are looking to establish long-term roots in this beautiful region. My hope is that this translation will allow for multicultural and multi-generational educational opportunities that will highlight shared struggles and contributions of past and new immigrants moving to this region, which will strengthen their sense of belonging and promote solidarity across diverse groups. I hope this brochure translation is a stepping stone to many more translations, as it can be what fosters the next generation of leaders and historians to document, highlight, celebrate, and archive their family stories and contributions to Lackawanna County. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny, and thanks again for all of your help with the translation of the book. We also have we're also working with UNC. Chrissy Grunz is here from UNC. They'll be able to help us distribute the Spanish language versions as well, to reach out to different groups, the populations that they work with. So we're excited again to reach new audiences there. This whole project entirely would not have been possible without LHVA, the Lackawanna Heritage Valley Authority. As I said, they produced the original version of the walking tour and sponsored this program for the Historical Society through a grant. So it wouldn't exist in any format without LHVA. So we're grateful always for their help and their support. So now for a word from our sponsor, Owen Worsbut from LHVA.
Thank you all. My name is, again, Owen Worsbit. I'm the Operations Director with Lackawanna Heritage Valley Authority. I didn't know what I was really going to talk about because you guys all already covered most of it. Especially I wanted to make sure Sarah gave herself credit back in 2009 when she was with the Heritage Authority, that she did help create you did create the first version. And then y'all stole my other little cutaways. Like I was going to talk about the West Mountain Stone and how most of the buildings, if you're on Linden Street, you can look up and you can see where that stone came from. We're talking about the Eagles and the different things that I've learned by doing this tour over the past number of years with Mary Ann and Sarah. I must have done this tour at least 5-6 times by now. But anyway, it's always great to be involved in a project like this. Lackawanna Heritage Valley, once again, has been doing these types of programs and projects throughout Scranton and the Lackawanna Valley for a number of years, and it really would not be possible without the funding that we receive from the National Park Service. The National Park Service is a key partner in funding the Heritage Valley, and that's actually where the funding for this program came from. So we're really appreciative of all of the support that we do get from them. And again, thank you all for coming out, and we really wouldn't be able to do this without the help and the partnerships with the Historical Society and the Visitors Bureau and Marywood and everybody involved. So thank you again.
Thank you, Owen. I'm sure you'll find another grant application coming across your desk in the next few months or so. You're always such a wonderful partner. One of the things that I noticed this morning, how many times we talk about people who have lived here their whole lives, who come on the walking tours or look in the new brochures and think, hey, I never knew that. How many things you learn about a place that you lived your whole life. I'm sure Lenny can talk about that, about walking tours that we've done. How many times you get somebody who learns something new about something they've seen 100 times. So we always try and reach out to tour groups who are coming in, but it's important also to be a tourist in your own hometown. We often don't really think about other opportunities and things that you could look at that are touristy where you live, because you live there. Why do you have to be a tourist? But there's great stories and great things that you could learn in your own hometown as a tourist. So to talk more about local tourism, I'd like to introduce Kurt Kimoni, the director of the Lackawanna County Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Even as the executive director of the Visitors Bureau, I learn new things about Lackawanna County and especially downtown Scranton literally every single day. And my favorite place on Courthouse Square is the Merle Cernoski monument. My first job was landscaping this square and planting begonias and maintaining all of the lawns and the plants. And that particular monument, because of I'm from Jessup and Gino Murley being from next door and hearing those stories, it always had a special meaning for me. But it was a pleasure to learn about all of the rest of it that I was completely unaware of. First and foremost, I just want to congratulate everyone involved with this. It is a Herculean effort, and I know firsthand how many hours and the effort that goes into this. So congratulations. It is very well done. It is very detailed, and you can learn a lot from it. I think it goes without saying that our history and our culture make up a very large portion of what our tourism is. We get people from not only all over the country, but all over the world coming in not only to see the office, but also to talk about and learn about our history between Steamtown, the trolley, the coal mine tour. But our architecture is absolutely a bright spot for tourism in Lackawanna County. The guided tours, and I know everyone here doesn't want to pat themselves on the back, they cannot possibly keep up with the demand of people. Every time they do a guided tour, it fills to capacity. They are fantastic. So the creation of this asset, or the refurbishing of this asset, allows more people to be able to do it on their own schedule. It falls right in line with trends of tourism that we are seeing nationally. It also falls right in line with the trend of things that are free to the public. So tourists come to an area, they want to take advantage of free assets and the ability to enjoy the area. Student groups, senior groups, we fill our historical tourism areas with those folks. They are going to love this. And then the translation of it and the availability of it in a second language is just outstanding. It not only opens it up to our community members that would benefit from it, but as was stated, to tourism and to different cultures coming in to experience and enjoy Northeast Pennsylvania and Lackawanna County. So congratulations once again. Kudos to you guys on a great job. Thank you to LHVA for everything that they do. And we will make sure we get this in the hands of as many outsiders as we can, and so they can enjoy Lackawanna County and specifically downtown Scranton. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our program here. As I said, we'll have these, you'll start seeing these around town in the next few weeks. So hopefully you'll be able to pick up a copy and take your friends and family and drag them around and show them all the new things that you learned about Scranton and Lackawanna County. So again, thank you very much for coming. If any other questions, we'd be happy to answer them. You should all have copies of the walking tour book. We're really excited to get them out in the world. Thank you again to LHVA and to Kurt and to Jenny for all of their work trying to make this happen. So again, thank you very much for coming and enjoy the rest of your day.